Hello, this is Adam with DreamMade Productions. This video is made possible by the very kind donations of viewers like you. Thank you. If you are in a position to help this channel improve quality and grow, please visit my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below.
It is the 31st century, and mankind is once again at war. The battlefields of the future are dominated by huge robotic war machines known as BattleMechs.
Hello, and welcome back to The Arsenal, a series where we look at the weapons, equipment, and technology of the BattleTech universe. Today, we add on to some of the items we have covered previously. Extend the topic, so to speak. Today, we look at the laser extended range kits and systems. Any soldier of any time period will no doubt attest that being able to outrange your enemy is always a good thing. Sometimes this can be a manufacturing change to an existing piece of technology. Adding spiral grooves down the barrel of a musket. The idea and basic function was the same, but the results were very noticeable. Other times, changes do not need to be so extreme. Slapping a scope on a battle rifle will greatly increase the range a shooter can engage. By the late 2590s, the Terran hegemony was facing a little bit of a problem. Laser systems had become commonplace. The large, medium, and small laser systems had become more or less standardized. Time-tested and extremely reliable, the issue was, well, everyone had them. True, the hegemony still produced the very best versions of these weapons, and enjoyed a small advantage in production efficiency. But the great houses and even most minor powers were capable of producing off-brand laser weapons that were more than on par with the hegemonies. Something was needed to push the balance of power back in favor of the hegemony. Several ideas were floated. Some weren't half bad and would eventually become commonplace. Others, well, let's just say one or two of those will come up in the future. One idea that would prove very successful was the so-called Deadeye Project. Mech warriors are aware that most mech-grade weapons are capable of firing further than what the system is rated at on the 10. It's just hitting anything beyond standard range brackets becomes extremely hard. Things are no different with the laser systems. This failing is what Project Deadeye had intended to correct. The designers did not want to reinvent the proverbial firearm. Just, well, as mentioned above, add some rifling and a scope. The result was the extended range system first installed on the large laser. Now, at this point, I think it is important to make a note. The extended range system comes in two forms. First is the purpose-built version of the weapon. The extended range capabilities are crafted into the system and it rolls off the assembly line ready to go. The second is the extended range kit. These little wonders are, well, not exactly rare, but let's go with uncommon. They are rebuild kits that allow a skilled Aztec to take a functioning laser, pull off some parts, add some parts, a few software updates, and you upgrade yourself from a normal laser to an ER version. So, what exactly does the ER system do? Well, not a lot, and a whole lot at the same time. The first change is the focusing lenses. 0G nanospun lenses were fractions more precise than standard laser lenses. This alone boosts accuracy, but other measures are also important to increasing the laser's range. Improved power amplifiers boost the power of the containment beam. This boost requires more power from the fusion reactor, so all cabling and relays should be replaced. Finally, new firing control calculations are updated to the unit's battle computer. Normally, this software update is simple, but some very old or primitive computer systems are incompatible, leading to problems or the need for customized code. The best part? All these improvements are replacements and are no heavier or significantly bulkier than the components of the base laser. Whether manufactured as an ER large laser or upgraded with a field ER kit, the ER large laser weighs 5 tons and takes up 2 critical slots. Just like its base model, it deals 8 damage. Unlike the base model, firing off an ER large laser generates 12 heat, 2 more than a PPC blast. So what do you get for all that added heat? Well, a punch that can really reach out. Where the base laser tops out at 5, 10, and 15, the ER large laser instead is deadly accurate out to 7. Still very viable out to an eye-watering 14. And while capable of being dangerous past 19, hitting anything starts to become a problem. This nudges the ER large laser past the PPC, but a little less than the AC2, with one advantage: no minimum range. Unlike the particle cannon and the light autocannon, an ER large laser does not suffer any problems at point-blank range, all in a package that is lighter than either of its competitors. The ER large laser would enter full production in 2620, and the SLDF Royal units were quick to adapt it. While the Star League could and did produce upgrade kits, most of the ER lasers back then were manufactured from the start to be the ER versions. The hegemony got what it wanted. Tests showed the new ER laser gave their units an advantage, at least for as long as it lasted. Despite trying to keep the tech in-house, it was not long before palms were greased and the great houses were able to begin producing their own ER large lasers. Project Deadeye changed its focus now to the other laser types. One would think a simple conversion would be all that was needed, but things are rarely that easy. First, the gamma-ray-based large laser worked in significantly different ways than the free electron-based medium and small laser. What's more, a significant amount of the increased range came from the boost in the containment beam, and the small laser lacks a containment beam altogether. The redesign and testing took time. A lot of time. Still, the scientists succeeded. Various prototypes had reached SLDF forces in tiny batches for a few years. The first mass production batch started on 15 December 2766. Needless to say, the events of less than 2 weeks later would, let's go with, delay the planned shipments to Royal SLDF units. While some additional ER medium lasers and ER medium laser field kits would reach General Kerensky, well, to call these rare would be an understatement. Fortunately, Ameris would also be denied any large-scale development of the new ER medium laser. What exactly happened is debated. The Ameris Dragoons sent to seize the production lines managed to capture almost all of the produced units waiting for delivery. But the production lines themselves were all but destroyed. Some say the line workers sabotaged the equipment. Others claim the Dragoon technicians made some kind of mistake, damaging the most complex components. Neither explanation makes sense to me. At the time the facility was taken, no one really knew what was going on. Ameris was already a traitor, but most normal people were not yet aware of it. On the other hand, despite the Dragoons' reputation now, at the time, these were the RimWorld's Republic elite. I cannot fathom some random Dragoon tech would start fiddling with sensitive machines that his president, and soon-to-be emperor, had personally ordered secured. I guess we will never know. Despite life's little mysteries, we do know what the ER medium laser was, and thanks to reverse engineering of clan equipment, is capable of. Like the ER large laser, the ER medium laser is neither heavier nor bulkier than its standard production cousin. Well, kind of. You see, this is the current version of the medium laser. The SLDF prototypes and that first production run were a little heavier, at 1.5 tons. It can still deal a respectable 5 damage, but of course it generates more heat at 5. The small heat increase drags a little more range out of the old girl. The ER medium laser is deadly accurate out to 4, dropping off some out to 8, and becomes combat ineffective past 12. This represents quite the little improvement over the 369 range brackets of the standard medium laser. The ER small laser never had a chance under the SLDF. Some early experimental versions may have been around in labs, but they just ran out of time. Who knows if any of the ER medium lasers were still around by the time Kerensky led the SLDF survivors out of the inner sphere. Once the clans were established, and they set out to bring order to the warring SLDF factions, their scientist casts were well on their way to creating their own version of the ER medium laser. And of course, they would soon add an advanced containment beam to the small laser, creating the ER small laser. And like the ER medium laser, captured clan equipment was used to create the inner sphere version, hitting the market in 3058. Like the other examples, the ER small laser adds no significant size or weight to the base design. It still deals its 3 damage, but the addition of the containment beam and increase in power doubles its heat generation to 2. With a doubling of heat comes an almost doubling of its range. The ER small laser is a great choice out to 2, still very useful out to 4, and is almost useless past 5. For 1 extra heat, it is a useful improvement. Of course, the clans have their own versions of the ER laser systems. They tend to be lighter, more powerful, and just all around better. So much better that unlike the inner sphere, the clans discontinued production of the standard laser systems altogether. As like so many improvements, the succession wars did not treat ER technology well. While heavier duty cabling, relays, and power amps could, in theory, have been replaced with less advanced heavier and bulkier versions, the super precise lenses were another matter. The technology would be lost, but not forgotten. Stories of a more powerful laser weapon remained, and the desire for the technology led to some interesting experiments during those dark days. And one result was the binary laser cannon, an absolute favorite of mine that we will look at when the time comes. I am of the opinion that the ER large laser was well on its way to returning before the discovery of the Helm memory core. Federated Suns designers had already produced working examples of an ER large laser. It worked as described, but the imperfect lenses meant that the beam had to be even more powerful to overcome the problem. While the Helm core held the solution, I do not think it would have been long before the Suns or the Combine would have figured it out. The ER medium and small lasers were another matter. These things confounded the Star League for over a century, and only an imperfect solution was just starting production when the proverbial shit hit the fan. The clans would solve these problems, and through their invasion, these weapons would see adopting throughout the inner sphere. My personal experience with the ER lasers is mixed. While I see their advantage, I can't help but take a step back. The ER large laser is a fine weapon, but I still hold on to my PPC. That extra damage and heat efficiency really matters. And you can easily deal with the minimum range by using other weapons. Or, well, installing a nifty little gadget we will look at when I can get that clearance. The ER medium and ER small both enjoy nice increases in range. The old school medium laser is still my measuring stick, and I just can't give it up. To me, ER lasers are nice additions, but just can't replace the classics. The improvements made by the Deadeye project were in some ways game-changing, a step forward for time-tested laser systems. Still, improvements come in more than one guise. Soon, we will be looking at other improvements to the laser systems. But until then, I want to hear what you think of ER lasers. Are these free upgrades worth it? Or does the extra heat hold you back? If you would like to see a piece of equipment covered, let me know below. And as always, I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come. Hello, this is Adam with Dream Made Productions. Thank you for watching my content. It really means a lot that you have given me the chance to entertain you. If you would like to support the channel, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below. Also below is a link for PayPal, or links if you would like to send crypto, if that's more your thing. Please know any amount that you give will be cherished and used to upgrade equipment and improve the channel. You can also help the channel by subscribing, turning on notifications, liking, commenting, and sharing my channel with anyone you think might be interested. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come.